corruption, terrorism, war, crime, abuse, and violence. These activities still run rampant and are tearing at the very fabric of civilization. They erode trust, weaken democracy, hamper economic development, and further exacerbate inequality, poverty, social division, and the environmental crisis.
My campaign against drug will not stop until the last pusher and the last drug lord are
Our country, ever since taking office on June 30, 2016, President Rodrigo Duterte has carried out a war on drugs that has led to the deaths of over 12,000 Filipinos to date, mostly urban poor. At least 2,555 of the killings have been attributed to the Philippine National Police.
He lived to tell his story. He says he did not fight back when accosted by police and claims that he was a victim of a police frame-up.
Human Rights Watch research has found that the police are falsifying evidence to justify the unlawful killings.
Sana naman po yung mga innocent tao, huwag naman po nilang idadamay dyan sa mga bagay na yan. Lalo na po dito sana po, hindi po yan kahit na anong drug, uminom lang po yan.
Despite growing call for an investigation, Duterte has vowed to continue the campaign.
Ngayon, kung ako ang i-demanda ng patayan, i-demanda ninyo ako para patayin po rin kayo.
Large-scale extrajudicial violence as crime solution was a maker of Duterte's 22-year tenure as mayor of Davao City and the cornerstone of his presidential campaign. On the eve of his May 9, 2016 election victory, Duterte told the crowd more than 300,000, "If I make it to the presidential palace, I will do just what I did as mayor. You drug pushers, hold up men, and do nothings. You better get out because I will kill you." In line with this, the Philippines has dropped 2 places in Transparency International's 2021 Corruption Perception Index with a score of 33 out of 100. It's second under the coronavirus pandemic.
The Philippines is still the 6th most corrupt among the selected Asia-Pacific economies.
The reason that corruption is dreadful in the Philippines is because the same families have been in power for decades. The corporations are monopolies and the government keeps all competing powers out of the country so that they are able to keep their grips on the people. With all the dreadful activities happening, these greatly affect each countries in terms of global, social, and economic aspects. These activities diminish one's government's respect for basic human rights, such as the absence of extrajudicial killings, political imprisonment, and torture. What's more concerning about this, these effects last for generations, and as if impossible to eradicate.
Here. And that's what we want. We want peace.
An innocent man was shot
But we
dead.
want justice.
About SDG 16. Goal 16 of the Sustainable Development Goals is dedicated to the promotion of peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, the provision of access to justice for all, and building effective, accountable institutions at all levels. These aims to promote peaceful societies at national levels, as well as the role of cooperation at the international level. The goal has 12 targets to be achieved by 2030. These are as follows. With these, the international community values peace and justice and call for stronger judicial system that will enforce laws and work toward to a more peaceful and just society. But what can we do in our own simple ways? First, we must keep ourselves updated with the current events and use to be aware of what is happening around us and the world. Second, we must speak up about all kinds of abuse, violence, harassments, and other forms of violation of human rights, no matter how big or small the act is. Third, let us involve ourselves by being active in national and local decision processes. whenever applicable. Keep in mind to exercise our right to form or join organizations and unions, especially when it comes to fighting for human rights. Lastly, as the election approaches, we must remember to always vote responsibly and wisely. Remember to do background checking on every running candidate. Don't vote for someone just because they are charming. Don't vote for someone just because they are popular. Don't vote for someone just because their name is familiar. Most especially, don't vote for someone just because you also vote for their parents. Vote for them because they are qualified. We must be critical in knowing the difference between promises and performance, especially when it comes to politicians. We should practice vigilance by protecting the integrity of our own vote from any undue influence. The law does not require citizens to vote, but voting is a very important part of any democracy. By voting, we are participating in the democratic process in which we can vote for leaders to represent us and our ideas, and the leader supports our interests. As the saying goes, there's no such thing as not voting. Not voting is actively hand power to those who would be very glad to take advantage of your absence.